I'm going to resume the recording and let's go over the materials. So today we're going to be doing some watercolor droid things. You may be able to see behind me, I made a little example just to see how it would work out. And it was so much fun to make the example. I can't wait for you guys to make it. So the materials are going to be some white paper. If you have mixed media paper or watercolor paper, like thick paper, that would be the best. But if you don't, I just have computer printer paper. I couldn't find my mixed media notebook, but it worked out totally fine. Oh, amazing, Stephen, you're typing, that's the best. And then you're gonna need some kind of watercolors. So I bet most of you have like that Crayola, like little watercolors, and it's like a little palette that comes made together. I only had watercolors like in a tube, so if you have this too, this works. Any kind of watercolors, you're gonna need them. If you don't have watercolors for any reason, you're gonna need some water-based markers. So just like some Crayola markers like this would do. So if you don't have them, does anyone not have watercolors? Let me know if you don't have watercolors. It looks like everyone has them. So yeah, you're gonna need those. And then obviously to go with our watercolors, you're gonna need a paintbrush, any kind of paintbrush. As long as you like it and it's good for watercolors, it will work. Are we all good so far on the materials? Oh, wow, look at that. Did you draw R2-D2? That is so cool. Wow. You're like a step ahead. You've like already got it going. You guys already drew it. Did we do this in like a class a minute ago or something? No, you guys are just a step ahead. Okay. So to go with, I haven't watched that much of the Star Wars movies. That's okay if you guys haven't seen the Star Wars movies. Here, do we have a question?
Yep, Isla.
Isla.
Go for it.
Actually, some of the people did draw R2-D2 from our last class with Elizabeth. There was 3 options. There was R2-D2, Jasmine, or Goofy. I drew Goofy. I did not draw R2-D2.
Well, if you did, then you're like a step ahead of the game. We're just gonna do it again, but a little bit different. It says Danielle, but I don't, you're Kaya, right? You're not Danielle. Okay, I thought you were Kaya.
Yeah, in Elizabeth's last class, we drew R2-D2.
Okay, because last class was what, like cartooning or something?
Yeah, cartooning.
Okay, well, that's okay. We're gonna do it again, but a little bit different. You guys are just ahead of the game. Does anyone else have a question here? We're listing all the materials in the chat. If you guys can see that, Stephen is typing them. Miles, did you have a question?
I want to show you something.
Oh, okay. What would you like to show me? Oh, that's very cool. Is one of those
C-3PO and R2-D2.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that. That is so cool. Thank you for sharing, Miles. Okay, does anyone else have a question about the materials maybe? No? Are we all good? Okay, we're gonna keep going over them. Okay, so water. We typed it in. You're gonna need like a cup of water just to like wipe off the brush, like clean it off, and then also get your paints wet so that you can use them like watercolors. You guys know how it works. And then you're gonna need paper towels. Not necessary, just like for spilling. And then if you want to clean your brush in between colors, this is a good thing to have. And a pencil. This is good. I'm not going to be using a pencil. I don't use pencils just because you guys can't see what I'm doing when I do an example in pencil. But you guys, when I'm using my marker, you guys should use pencil. So I'm just going to say that now, like I always do. And I think that's it. If you have crayons, you can use them, and I will say when to use them. Specifically, a white or a black crayon, but that's optional. I didn't have a white or a black crayon, and mine still turned out just fine. Optional, white or black crayon. Okay. Does anyone have any questions from all those materials? Does anyone need to hang on for a second? I see a couple of us might have left and then are coming back. I see some empty chairs, so we'll hang on for just a second and then we'll get started. Let me adjust and hang up my white piece of paper. See, some of us are back. So like always, I'm going to have, this is the final product that my example that I did. If you can either go ahead, you're like visual in your art creativity, then you can go ahead and start drawing it on your own. And then even if you kind of like surpass this, you can add even extra details or anything like that. You could maybe add antenna, more details in the center. I bet you guys who were in cartooning have some cool ideas that you got from that class that you can probably implement into this class, which I didn't include in my R2D2 thing. So yeah, it looks like most of us are back. And I think we should just get started. So everyone, grab your white piece of paper and your pencil. I'm using a marker. Don't use a marker because if we make mistakes, we want to be able to erase them with the pencil. But I'm just using it so you guys can see what I'm going to do. Okay, so we're going to start by making our R2D2 outline first in our pencil. Then we're gonna go through, grab our watercolors, and carefully watercolor to make it this cool, like, I'll get you guys really close to see what it's gonna finally be. So you get that cool kind of like tie-dye-y look, almost. And then we go over it and we outline it in marker. Yeah, so let's get started. So I'm gonna start with this little dome shape for his head. So I'm going to find a spot that's kind of, I'm going to make my R2D2 about the size of the paper, kind of the same size as this guy. You can make it as big or as tiny as you want. If you have a bigger piece of paper, make it bigger. If you have a smaller piece of paper, make it smaller. But I'm just going to do it this size. You can do it, like I said, bigger or smaller. And I'm just going to start by making that little top kind of rainbowy half moon dome shape thing, just like that. Always having to move my table around. Okay, so I just made that little dome shape, which is his head. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue these lines straight down to make the rest of his body. Just like that. Can everyone see what I'm doing? Can anyone not see what I'm doing? Hopefully you have me like really big and you click speaker view. Oh, Kaya, did you have a question again? Where's Kaya?
She's shaking her head now.
Oh, okay. Message, unmute me, that's okay. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a line on the bottom. So this is our general shape. This is like his head and his body. Now we're gonna go in and start doing the details of his arms and his head and all his little buttons and bells and whistles and R2D2 things. So the next line that I'm gonna do is gonna be a little bit like near the top, right here. And I'm gonna make a line just like that. So it's not straight in the middle, like this would be the middle. It's a little bit closer to the top than the middle would be, but it's right there. Oh, awesome, I see. Hi, that looks really great. That looks so great. I like how like kind of like defined your lines are. That looks awesome. Okay, and then I'm gonna make another line following exactly along that line, but I just made it a little bit below. So you can see right there, there's two lines right there. Just like that. And then I'm gonna take my marker and make 3 lines below it that are about like 2 fingers, maybe 3 fingers because your fingers are tiny. 3 lines like that wide, just like that. Just like that. Oh, I see some of you are doing your own creations. That looks amazing. Isla, that looks great. Awesome. Now I'm gonna go in and make a little rectangle up and down, just like that, inside his little body area as well. I just made a little rectangle, just like that. And then the like buttons and stuff like inside his little torso area, you can kind of make them however you want, because he has like a specific pattern, but it's just like lines and circles and squares and rectangles. So if you want to do yours a little bit different than mine, that's okay. So far I've done these 3 lines, and I've done this rectangle right here. Now I'm going to take my marker and make a circle just below the rectangle. So I have a rectangle and I've got a little circle right there. Super easy. R2-D2 and most of the droids in Star Wars are super easy because they're just like, you know, geometric shapes that we all already know how to do. And now I'm going to take my marker and make little dashes inside. On this side I made about 5. So make little dashes, maybe 1 finger wide. Just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's a close-up of what I've done so far. Just like that. And now I'm going, are we all good at this step? Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns? It looks like we're all good. We're all concentrating. Awesome.
Isla, you raise your hand. What's up?
Can I go on to marker now? Because I'm done drawing.
Hang tight, maybe add a few more details in it, and then we're not doing marker just yet. I will tell you what we're doing after we finish this up. Now I'm gonna make a smaller little rectangle just below that in the body again. And now I'm gonna take my marker and I'm gonna make like V diagonal lines on each side of the bottom of the torso body area. So I'm gonna go and make a diagonal line about 1 inch long, like that, curving in. And I'm gonna make another one just like that. So it's like we've made like the tips of a V, but we just didn't connect it at the bottom. And now I'm gonna take a line to connect those 2 little areas right there. And we've made this little like bottom area, and then just add some lines in there like this, just like that. And that's like his little bottom panel area. Oh my gosh, these look so good. And now we're gonna go on to doing his little bottom back front wheel thingy that he has like underneath his body. So I'm going to take my pencil or my marker and your pencil, and I'm going to make a little square at the bottom of his body that we've already made. So just like that, I made just a little square. And then I'm going to make a line on the bottom of the square that's a little bit longer than the square that I had made. So it's maybe like a finger, half a finger longer on each side than the square that I had initially made. And now I'm going to make some diagonal lines again, but instead of pointing in, they're going to point out. So here, I'll show you what I mean. I'm just going to make some diagonal lines just like that are going outwards, and then I'm just connecting it at the bottom. And then making another little rectangle below it, just like that. So that is 1 foot. And as you can see, both of my R2-D2s look a little bit different, and I made both of them. So it's okay if yours looks a little bit different than mine, because that's how it just happens in art. Everything is a little bit different. All right, so we have the shape of the head, the torso completely done, and then the bottom little leg wheel rolly thing completely done. Now we're gonna go work back up and do the details in the head. Okay, are we all good right here? Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns? All right, it looks like we're all good.
Looks like we're good.
So I'm gonna start and I'm gonna make these little boxes at the top of his head. So I'm gonna take my pencil marker and I'm gonna make a line at the top of his head, but I'm gonna leave us some space in the middle. So you see, it's like I almost made a line going all the way through, but I left a little, like a finger or 2 fingers wide of space in the middle, just like that. And then I connected it to the top of his head. I connected the end of each of those lines to the top of his head, just like that. Okay. And now I'm gonna make this kind of trapezoidy shape where his little eyeball goes inside. So I'm gonna make one line on top. That's about 1 inch, almost. And then I'm gonna do, it's like that same shape that we made down here for the bottom of the foot, but we're just making it inside the head. So just like that, I made this a little like trapezoidy shape. So there's one line on top that's short, there's one line on the bottom that's a little bit longer, and then I just connected them. And then I'm gonna put a circle inside for the eyeball. Just like that. And now I'm making 2 lines coming from the left side that are about 1 inch long. And I'm gonna close it off so it makes it like a rectangle. Now I'm gonna make a littler rectangle in the middle, just like that. So this is what I've got so far for the details in the head. Just a little close up. And then I'm gonna make a little circle right next to that rectangle I made. And then I'm gonna make a smaller little lines on the right side, shooting out from there. And I'm gonna close it off and I'm gonna make it like a square. And that is all the details that I did in the head. All right, are we all good? Does anyone have any questions? Okay, that looks great. So good.
Looks like we're all good.
Awesome. I'm gonna start working on the arms. So I'm gonna take my marker and I'm gonna make one long line down his body, down the side of his body, leaving a little tiny bit of space in between, but it's all just straight down, starting at about the middle of the head right here, and then going all the way to the bottom of that little like grid panel thing that we made before. So I've made one line just like that. Now I'm gonna take my marker and make one line about 1 inch or like 2 fingers wide, going out to the left at the top, and then I'm gonna make one like almost halfway down, but not quite halfway, right there. And then I'm gonna make the same thing, like about 2 inches down, maybe 3 or 4 fingers down, just like that. I'm gonna make another one. So I've got this one long line, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 little lines that are about almost 1 inch, maybe 2 or 3 fingers wide, just like that. And now I'm gonna connect the top one with the second one, like that. And I'm gonna connect the bottom one with this one, like that. So I've made 2 rectangle shapes at the top and the bottom. All right, and now I'm gonna make a line going down, but a little bit thinner. So you see that one line I made right here, it was a tiny bit in from that outside line that we had connected before. Just like that. That is the arm thingy. So now let's do the little bottom wheel thingy. And it's got the same exact shape that we made here and then in the eyeball. So we're gonna make 2 little lines pointing down, super, super teeny tiny, not even like a full finger long. And then we're gonna do that same trapezoidy shape. So we're gonna do a short line on the top and then a longer line on the bottom, and then connecting them with little diagonal lines. I wonder how many times I've said the word line. And now I'm going to make just a little rectangle on the bottom again. So that is the first arm on the side. And now I'm going to do the exact same thing, but mirrored and reversed on the other side. Are we all good if we're following along? We're all okay. Awesome.
Looks like we're good.
Cool. Okay. So now I'm going to take my marker and do the same thing on the other side and make another line the same length. Starting from like the almost middle of the head, going all the way down to the bottom area of those little panels that we made. And now I'm going to make those almost inch lines shooting out again. And it's kind of easier this time because I have like a guide right here. So you just look, okay, I did this one right here, so this one goes right here. I did this one right here, so this one goes right across from it right there. And then the same thing with the bottom one. Just like that. And now I'm going to do the same thing again and connect the top one and the second line, and then that bottom one and the one above it. Super easy. And now I'm going to connect those two with that thinner little rectangle in the middle. And then I'm making those short little lines at the bottom. Again, not even like a finger long. And then I'm making that trapezoid shape one more time. So a short line on top, a long line on the bottom, and then connect them with diagonal lines. And then add a little rectangle on the bottom. And we have made our R2-D2. All right, so that is that. I'm going to take it off the wall. I'm going to put it on my desk, and I'm going to tilt you guys down to show you the next step. Okay, I'm putting this way actually. Can we see this all right? Should I maybe put the...
Yep. We can see it.
We can see it? Okay. So I'm taking my paintbrush and I'm dipping it in my water. Now, since I've used marker, it's not gonna look as good as your guys's is if you used pencil, because it's gonna like bleed the marker, if that makes sense. It's gonna make it kind of run. But so I'm just gonna show you a little bit of what I did. Look at that. Wow, Kaya, that looks amazing. And Kaya has done it. That is so good. Wow. So for those of you who are ahead, hang on, because while everyone else is painting and catching up and everything, I think I'm going to do another one with you guys, but I'm going to make it BB-8. So we're going to end up doing actually 2 of these droids. One is going to be this one, the R2-D2 one, and then we're going to make a BB-8 one in a minute. Okay, so take your paintbrush, dip it in your water, and then just dip it in your watercolors. And then just start painting. Just like this, but yeah, mine's super, it's gonna turn super weird because I did it in marker, so it's gonna like blend the marker. And then I'm just doing it kind of tie-dye-y. As you guys kind of saw in my example, I just do it tie-dye-y. So I do like a patch of orange, I'll do a little patch of red.
Isla, do you have a question?
A little patch of green. Do we have any questions?
Can you put the no colored water down first, and then it'll make them like look more tie-dye?
Totally. That is such a smart idea. Yeah, so if you wanted to do what Isla said, that's such a good artist tip actually for when you use watercolors. It's best to kind of do a clear coat of water without any paint on it first and then go over it with water. But I didn't want to do that on mine because as you can see, since I've used markers, wherever I put the water, it turned like a yucky black brown. So you guys work on your watercolors. I'm not going to watercolor this one because it's going to turn so yucky. But here, I'll show you my example one so you can see what I mean by kind of doing little sections. And then if you have the crayons, this is where that would be super. If you outlined the crayon or outlined your R2D2 in either black or white crayon, and then when you're watercoloring, you don't need to be that neat around the edges because the crayon, since it's wax based, it will repel the water so it won't go outside the lines, which is super duper cool. So I'm gonna give you guys a minute to watercolor, and then we're gonna do a quick little BB-8 lesson, and then you guys can watercolor them. And yeah, this is super cool. Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns?
Doesn't look like it. Looks like they're going at it.
Yeah. Maybe we could do some like Star Wars Q&A. Does anyone have any fun Star Wars facts or want to share anything like their favorite movie, their favorite character? Anything like that? Oh, okay. Isla. Once she said 1 second. Okay.
Yeah, if you guys-
Steven, who's your favorite character?
Oh no. My favorite character. I gotta say, my favorite character has to be, I would say Ahsoka Tano. I feel like she's pretty cool, and I think that's why she's my favorite.
Is she a Clone Wars character?
Yeah, she was Anakin's Padawan.
I haven't seen the Clone Wars. I'm
Oh.
like familiar with it, but I don't know it that well. But that's so cool. That was such a good answer. If anyone else has a favorite Star Wars character that they want to let us know, either type it in the chat or raise your hand and we can have a little chat. Isla, I saw your hand up first.
I'm out of breath.
Okay.
Run.
Take a breath and then let us know. Oh my goodness. Wow.
This is my dad's, not mine. Wait, is it upside down?
Okay, wait, hang on. I'm going to spotlight this so I can see it real close. Okay.
Heavy.
Creating the
Daddy,
world
why'd you
of
get us
Star
such a
Wars in
heavy Star Wars
360
book?
seconds. Wow. That
Nice.
is rad.
It's how they made it, and look on the back. It's showing the
Whoa.
models.
That's so
That
cool.
is so cool.
But it's very heavy.
What a
It
cool
says
thing
Star
to have.
Wars,
Oh, that's amazing. That's like the best battle scene.
but it's very heavy. So I'm
Thank
just
you
gonna-
for sharing that, Isla. That's
Sure.
awesome. Okay, Miles, did you have something to let us know about?
My favorite character in Star Wars is Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, I don't know if I've heard that one be someone's favorite before. That's good. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for sharing. Devin, did you have something to share?
Princess Leia is my favorite character.
Aw, Princess Leia is one of my favorites too. Thank you for sharing, Devin. Kaya.
Phasma.
Captain
Phasma.
Phasma.
Oh, you like Phasma. You like from the
movies,
new
but-
series. Yeah, Phasma's pretty cool. Yeah.
I'll probably need to find the picture, but there's a picture of me and Elizabeth both in the Princess Leia like white gown and the buns. Gotta find it
No
somewhere.
way.
Yeah.
You
Maybe
gotta-
for a different time, I'll find it and I'll share it with you guys.
Maybe on Wednesday, and you can do
Yeah.
like you can put it on your computer or whatever and like screen share.
Yep.
That would be amazing.
What's
How
your
are we
favorite
doing on the
character?
watercoloring? How are we all doing? Give me some thumbs up if we're doing well.
See
See a
some
couple
thumbs.
thumbs. Oh wow, I see the paper towel. That's cool. All right. Where did I put my? Oh, there it is. I'm gonna pull up a picture of BB-8 so that I can give you guys how to draw it. So I gotta look it up on my phone. BB-8 outline. And then we'll go over how to draw BB-8 in just a minute. And then you guys can do the same thing and watercolor BB-8. And so then you can have R2-D2 and BB-8. And this is actually so cool. Like I want to leave this hanging in my room. So cool. Does anyone have a favorite Star Wars movie that they want to share? I know Stephen and I were talking how we really like Revenge of the Sith. Does anyone else have a favorite? Maybe like, did anyone see The Rise of Skywalker? Or anything like that? Oh yeah, Noah, did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, that one was really good. I really enjoyed that movie.
Kaya.
Kaya.
I've seen The Rise of Skywalker, and I have it recorded on my TV.
Did you like it? Oh, it's so good. Miles, another.
So I don't really know what the movie's called, but it's the one with the pod racers.
The pod
The
races?
Phantom Menace.
Yeah, the Phantom Menace. When Anakin's like a little boy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good favorite. That's an interesting one. I like how
I
you
even
like Jar
have a
Jar
Lego
Binks.
pod
And then your
racer.
favorite.
I have a Lego pod racers at my dad's house.
Oh no way! That is so
I have
cool.
Anakin's pod racer from the movie that looks exactly like it.
That's so
at my
cool.
dad's house, built but from Legos.
That is so.
And
cool.
guess what?
What?
One time I dropped it and it shattered, and then we had to build it all over again.
Oh my gosh! Well, that happens sometimes with Legos.
And I also have the Darth Maul shit.
Ooh,
Darth
that
Maul.
is so cool. That's a good
And it's
battle.
double lightsaber.
Yeah, that's a good battle.
It's
All right.
Anakin versus Darth Maul.
Okay, let's it looks like a couple of us are still watercoloring, so we'll give it maybe like 1 or 2 more minutes, and then for those of you who are ready, we can move on to start making. Oh, Noam, that looks great. That looks awesome. We can move on to start making our BB-8. If you guys have been done for a couple minutes, I know a few of you have, and if your watercolors are completely dry, like feel them and make sure they're really, really dry, you can outline your R2-D2 in black marker or crayon. I would say marker is the best, but if you want to do crayon, that could be cool too. So yeah, go ahead and do that, and then we will start our BB-8s. Let me tape up my next piece of paper. So again, if you missed that, if you're done watercoloring and your paper is super duper dry, make sure, because if it's wet, then your marker will like be spread, you know, and it'll like not look cute. Then you can outline it in black marker or crayon. In crayon, it doesn't matter, but marker it does, because the Crayola markers are water-based, and so it means that when they are activated with water, they spread through the water. All right. I'm gonna get started drawing BB-8. If you're still working, don't worry. We're just gonna be doing something separate. And then when you're ready, you can jump on in. And it's super simple, like the R2-D2, it's just basic like geometric shapes and lines. So it's kind of quick to catch up on. But let's get started with our BB-8. So everyone grab another white piece of paper and your pencil. Again, I'm gonna be using a marker so you guys can see what I'm doing, but grab your pencil and your paper. Okay. Give me some thumbs up if we're ready. I see most of us aren't even here. Where did we go? Okay, I see some thumbs up, so I'm just gonna get started for those of you who are here. Who is BB-8?
Oh.
That is a good question. BB-8 was introduced in The Force Awakens, and BB-8 is an orange and white protocol droid who is owned by Poe Dameron. Yay. He's super cute. If you want to start watching a Star Wars series, I would say for you guys, it would be cool to watch starting with The Force Awakens. Because yeah, I feel like it's the newer kind, so it's
Yeah.
like better made. And yeah, okay. Kai, did you have a question?
Two things.
Okay.
BB-8 also belongs to Ray,
That's true. Yes.
and I've watched all the Clone War with my dad. I like to watch those
Oh, cool.
before I watched The Force Awakens.
Cool. Yeah, that's
Before
a good
I watched
one.
the movies, I watched Clone Wars.
Yeah, that's a good one. I've heard that one's really, really good. I actually haven't watched any of the TV show Star Wars is, so I feel like I'm like a fake fan, but like I've heard they're really good. All right, let's get started. So BB-8 is a bunch of circles, like a circle shape. So we're gonna be making lots of circles. So the first shape we're gonna make is we're gonna start similar that we did to R2-D2. And we're gonna make his little head dome thing. So I've made that like rainbow shape once again, just like that. Okay. And now I'm gonna take my marker and I'm gonna connect the bottom just like that with a straight line. That's his head, or the basic shape of his head so far. All right, now I'm gonna start working on the body, which is one big giant circle. So I'm gonna take my marker and I'm gonna carefully make a little circle. I wish I was able to do this in pencil because I feel like it would be better if I was. So you see how my circle is really lopsided? If I was doing it in pencil, it would be better. And I wasn't writing on a wall that's bumpy, it would be better. So hopefully your guys' circle will look way better than my circle does. But that is my lopsided BB-8. Okay, so the next shape we are going to make is, he has a bunch of circles inside of his main circle. So we're gonna make one right there. So we're gonna kind of make like a U upside down rainbow shape to connect the side to the head on that side. And then we're gonna do the same thing on that side. Oh, I'm so upset about the shape of my circle. Steven, do you see this?
It's just, yeah, right there at the bottom corner.
It's like right here, it shoots too far out, and then right here, it's like, oh, I hope your guys' circle is better. It's okay though, because it's art and it's unique.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I've done two little like UC shapes, just like that, and then I'm gonna do one on the bottom too, just like that. Okay, and now I'm gonna outline the shape I just made, like maybe a centimeter or like 1 finger length away. I'm gonna outline it just like that. So you see, it's like I'm making a double like layer of that circle shape that I just made. Just like that. Okay. Now that there's some details in it, my lopsided circle is not as bad as it was. You're writing on your wall. Yes, I am writing on my wall, Jonah, because what I do is I tape the pieces of paper to my wall. So instead of having it be on my desk and having to tilt you guys down, it's kind of like writing on like a chalkboard or whiteboard. But if you feel your walls, they're really bumpy and lumpy. And so when I write on them, it gets like bumpy and lumpy, and it's just, yeah. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna connect all of our circles. So this circle right here on like the right side, I'm gonna connect to the bottom one with a little line, just like that. And then I'm gonna connect that same first circle, the one on the right, to the top one with a little line, just like that. And then I'm gonna do the same thing with the last one. So this circle right here on the left, I'm gonna connect with the bottom. So you see now it's like all the circles are all connected to each other. Okay, and then I'm just gonna add some little circles, some teeny tiny ones. They don't have to be in a specific place. I'll put one right there, one right there, one right there, and right there. Because he's got these little, like, they're circles, they're almost like the bolts that like are connecting his little sphere shape. And I'll put one like right there. So these little tiny circle dots. Just like that. And now inside each of these little circle shapes that I've made, I'm going to do 2 lines pointing inwards. Just starting with the bottom one, I did 2 lines that are about maybe 2 fingers long, pointing inwards, and then I'm going to connect them. Just like that, because he's got these little almost like tooth looking like pieces that are pointing inwards from his little things. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to move to my top right circle. I'm going to make a line like that. I'm going to make a line like that. And I'm going to connect them. Just like that. And I'm going to do the same thing for my top left circle. So this so far is what I have with my BB-8. I have his whole body done. And then we're going to start working on his head. Is everyone good so far? Does anyone have any questions about this?
Looks like
Good? Okay, so I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to make another line on the bottom of his head. Like this. So I made another line, one of those kind of like double layer lines that's super duper close to the bottom of his head. So I made one just above it, just like that. So I did, this line was there already there, and then I made another one just above it. And then I'm going to take my marker once again, and I'm going to make a big circle in the very middle of his head. This is his main little eyeball, kind of like R2-D2 has his main eyeball. This is BB-8's main eyeball right there. And then I'm going to make another second little circle just to the bottom right there. Made a second little circle. So those are my 2 eyeball circles right there. You can see them. And now, just kind of like how we did the R2-D2, there's like one little rectangle pointing in there and there's a little square. On this side, we're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to make a line that's about 1 inch long, starting from the right side on the bottom of the head. And I'm going to make another one, just like that. So I've made 2 lines pointing in from the side of the head. And I'm just going to connect them to make them like a rectangle. Just like that. And then I'm going to go to the other side and make 2 short lines and then connect them so it makes it like a little square. So this is what we have so far. Again, now I'm going to take my marker one more time and I'm going to make just some line, a line on the top. Just a line just like that. So it almost like puts a little hat on him. It's like cutting the little top of his head. So it looks like he's wearing a little hat. He's got little lines like that. And that's about it, except for you got to make sure he has 2 antennae. So put his little antenna. Those are very important to BB-8 and his friendship with Rey. If you know The Force Awakens, she's always checking his antenna. So that is our second droid. Does anyone have any questions about the drawing of it? Are we all good?
Looks like we're good. No,
So you guys can go again and take your crayon and do the outline. If you did it the first time, do your outline around to protect it from the watercolors coming outside, and then watercolor this one. And then once it completely dries, then you can outline it in marker to give it that nice bold, you know, outline. And then also optionally, you could cut out your droid. I think that could be super duper cool if you cut it out and you could hang it on your wall. Just like I've hung mine on my wall. I love it. This is amazing. So yeah, we'll give you guys, we've got like 10 more minutes in class, so hopefully that should be a good amount of time to watercolor and finish watercoloring and do the same thing. And then, like Isla said, if you wanted to, before you started watercoloring, is go over your entire body of your droid in this plain water without any watercolors. You could do that too. Super cool. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns, want to share anything? Oh,
Yes,
Isla.
Can you pull up a drawing of Star Wars characters? I'm deciding because I'm making this. I took apart a Scotch tape roll in half, and I'm drawing this, and I'm trying to decide what character to put on it.
Okay, here, let's see.
I tried Darth Vader, but then I realized his eye's not showing, and plus, that'll be cut out. So I did it again. I think it would be better if I took the tape roll out.
Here, I'll pull up some pictures. Oh wow, there's a lot there. Let's see, I'll try and make it big. And then I'll share my screen. Hang on. There's some characters. Oh, hang on, we're not watching Netflix. There's some characters. You've got Luke, Han, Leia, C-3PO, Yoda, R2, who we've already drawn. You could do a stormtrooper. That would be super cool. These are like cartoony ones. Let's see. These are some of the new guys. There's Kylo Ren, Rey, R2-D2. Yeah. Let's see, I see Jonah's raising their hand. Did you have a question?
Yoda.
I don't know who's talking.
Jonah, did you have a question?
I just forgot it.
What?
I think he said he just forgot it.
You forgot it? Are we under the table? Okay. Well, let us know if you remember, bud. Oh, wait. Here's the Star Wars characters. Isla, were you looking for one in particular? Like, who were you looking for?
It was either Yoda or Chewbacca.
Yoda or Chewbacca. Okay, let's see. Oh, look, it's Baby Yoda. That's cute.
Oh.
Oh, you should do Baby Yoda. That would be so cute. Look at that's so cute. Jonah, did you remember your question? Your hand is raised again.
There's also like characters called like there's like there's sky troopers and there's sand troopers.
Yeah. And then there's dark troopers, and then there's like the red Imperial guards. Like, yeah, there's a ton of different levels of stormtroopers. That is such a good point. Thanks for sharing, Jonah. All right. This is so cute. Look at this Baby Yoda. Oh, I wish we'd drawn this. But it's okay. The droids were cool. I think we might be doing some kind of Baby Yoda craft in the future. Does anyone else have any last minute questions, comments, concerns, anything they want to say about Star Wars that they want to share? Are we all good on our watercolors? Did we watercolor? Do they look nice? Does anyone want to share their final result? Can you want to hold them up so I can see? Anyone holding theirs?
No, I see you raising your hand. Ooh, I love it.
Oh, wow.
Nope, I don't know where you just went.
Oh yeah, you just moved. Oh, there you go. What? That looks great. You're outlining it right now, I can tell. I think, are you trying to unmute? Oh, there we go. Are you outlining it right now, Noam?
No, I was.
Oh, that looks so great. Are you gonna watercolor your BB-8? I see that's in front of you.
No.
No, well that's cool. You made a drawing. That's amazing. Can I see it?
He rolls, so I made a couple little dashes to show that he's rolling.
That's so creative.
Awesome.
That's great. Thank you for sharing, Noam. Does anyone else want to share their final result? Maybe if we're still working, you can also share it. If you guys know, we have a Google Drive where you can upload your pictures of your projects, and then the entire class and camp will be able to see your work, and you can see your friends' work. I'll stop the share so I can see everyone.
I need to fix this chair I'm sitting in because every time I move in it, it just starts squeaking.
Oh no.
Skyler, who's your favorite Star Wars character?
I love Darth Vader. Darth Vader is my favorite. So, fun fact, you guys, my grandfather, on my dad's side, was a prop guy in Hollywood in like the 80s. And he actually worked on The Empire Strikes Back and then also The Return of the Jedi. So growing up, I had all these like props in my playroom, which was so cool. So it made me like obsessed with Star Wars, which is why I love it.
Awesome.
But Darth Vader definitely is my favorite. I also really like Anakin Skywalker in Revenge of the Sith. And then if I was gonna pick one from like the new series, I feel like it would probably just be Rey, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a hard question though, asking a favorite of something.
All right, guys.
We've got like 2 minutes left, but it looks like all of us are either done or we're ready to wrap it up. So thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you guys had fun and enjoyed doing watercolors. If you wanted to re-watch this, it will be up on our YouTube channel in a couple of days, or maybe even you can check back tonight and it will be there. But make sure you share pictures of your work on our Google Drive, and Ashley sends out the links and everything to that. And I will see you guys all on Wednesday. And we will be doing another super cool, super duper fun project that I kind of remember what it is. I think it might be a Baby Yoda thing, but I'm not sure. All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Stephen.
Bye, everyone. Yep, thank you.
Oh, Isla, that looks great. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.